On my 66th birthday, I tried to hug my daughter. She stepped back and said in front of everyone, "Mom, please, you're being clingy." The room went quiet. Nobody defended me. I said nothing, but the next morning, I opened my bank statement and saw that $127,000 was missing. 3 days later, at my attorney's office, my daughter learned exactly what happens when you steal from your mother. I'm Yvonne Carroll, 66 years old, and I spent 35 years as a Chicago public schools principal. I retired in 2020, thinking I'd spend my golden years traveling with my husband Jerome. We'd saved carefully our entire marriage, lived modestly in South Shore, paid off our house, built a retirement fund that would let us finally relax after 40 years of hard work. Then Jerome died. Heart attack. August 2021. He was 68 years old. Dropped dead in our driveway, coming home from the store. 1 minute he was here, the next, gone. And I was alone in a house that suddenly felt too big, too quiet, too full of memories. That's when I made my first mistake. I trusted my daughter Bianca too much, gave her power of attorney over my finances because I was grieving, confused, overwhelmed by paperwork and decisions. She said she wanted to help, said I shouldn't have to worry about managing money while dealing with Jerome's loss. I believed her. What I didn't know was that my son-in-law Derek had lost $95,000 in crypto investments and racked up $85,000 in credit card debt, trying to maintain a lifestyle they couldn't afford. What I didn't know was that Bianca would start transferring my money to cover his mistakes. What I didn't know was that the daughter I raised, the woman I put through college debt-free, would steal from me for 18 months while I grieved my husband. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to my birthday party, to the moment I realized my own family saw me as nothing more than an inconvenience to be managed. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know what city you're watching from, because what I'm about to share isn't just about elder financial abuse. It's about what happens when your children forget where they came from, when they become so focused on image and status that they forget the woman who sacrificed everything to give them opportunities she never had. The party was at Bianca's house in Kenwood, a beautiful graystone she and Derek bought 3 years ago. Every time I visited, I felt out of place. The furniture was expensive. The art on the walls cost more than my monthly pension. Everything was carefully curated to project success. Derek opened the door. "Yvonne, come in. Bianca's in the kitchen." Not mom, not mother, just Yvonne. He'd started calling me that 2 years ago. A small thing, but it stung. Like he was creating distance, making it clear I wasn't really his family, just his wife's mother. The dining room was decorated simply, no elaborate setup, just a store-bought cake on the table and a few balloons. Nothing like the parties they threw for Derek's parents, with catered food and dozens of guests. This was efficient, obligatory, get through it and move on. "Happy birthday, Mom." Bianca kissed my cheek without really looking at me. She was checking her phone, always checking her phone. "Sorry, it's just us. The kids have things." Things? Maya's at volleyball practice, Jordan's at a friend's house. You know how teenagers are. I knew. I'd raised a teenager. But I also knew that when I was young, missing Grandma's birthday wasn't an option. Family came first. Apparently, that lesson hadn't transferred to my grandchildren. We sat down to dinner, takeout from some expensive restaurant. Derek talked about a big sale he'd closed. Bianca talked about a luxury property she'd just listed. Nobody asked about me, how I was doing, how I was handling retirement. If I was lonely in that big house by myself, I was invisible, present, but irrelevant, an obligation to be checked off their list. After dinner, Bianca brought out the cake. Chocolate. I preferred vanilla, but she'd forgotten. or never knew, or didn't care enough to remember. We sang happy birthday. I blew out the candles, made a wish I knew wouldn't come true. I wished for my daughter to see me again, really see me. Not just the old woman taking up space in her busy life, but the mother who'd worked 2 jobs to pay for her college, who'd sacrificed vacations and new furniture so she could have opportunities I never had. "Mom, I got you something." Bianca handed me a wrapped box. Inside was a cardigan. Beige. Practical. The kind of thing you buy for someone when you can't remember what they actually like. "Thank you, baby. It's perfect." It wasn't perfect. But what was I going to say? That I felt forgotten? That this birthday felt like a chore they were rushing through? That I missed the days when my family actually wanted to spend time with me? I stood up to clear plates. Bianca didn't stop me, didn't say, "Sit down, Mom, you're the birthday girl." Just let me clear dishes in my own honor while she scrolled through her phone. That's when the loneliness hit me. A wave so strong I had to grip the edge of the sink to steady myself. Jerome was gone. My daughter was gone too, in a different way. The warmth between us had cooled over the years, since she married Derek, since they moved to Kenwood, and started living a life that didn't include me unless absolutely necessary. I walked back to the living room. Bianca was texting. Derek was watching something on his tablet. Neither noticed me standing there. "I should probably head home," I said quietly. "Already?" Bianca looked up, but there was relief in her eyes. "Okay, let me grab your coat." I reached out to hug her goodbye. She tolerated it for exactly 2 seconds before pulling away. "Mom, please. You're being clingy." The words hit me like a slap. Clingy. For wanting to hug my own daughter on my birthday. Derek didn't even look up from his tablet. "Drive safe, Yvonne." I drove home through the dark streets of Chicago, my hands shaking on the steering wheel, not from age, from hurt, from the realization that I'd become a burden to my own child. When I got home, the house was silent. Jerome's chair sat empty. The television he used to watch was dark. I was alone. Completely alone. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Bianca's voice. "You're being clingy." Like wanting affection from your own daughter was some kind of character flaw. Like the woman who'd raised her alone while Jerome worked double shifts was now asking for too much. By morning, I was sitting at my kitchen table with coffee I didn't drink, watching the sun come up over the backyard Jerome and I had planted together. The roses were blooming. He'd loved those roses. Spent every weekend tending them. They were still here. He wasn't. The mail came early. Bills mostly. Junk catalogs. And my bank statement from First National. I almost didn't open it. I'd been letting Bianca handle most of my finances since Jerome died. She had power of attorney. She paid my bills online, managed my investments. I trusted her. But something made me open that envelope. Maybe instinct. Maybe the universe trying to tell me something was wrong. I unfolded the statement and stared at the numbers. My savings account balance, $33,247. That couldn't be right. 6 months ago, that account had over $120,000. Money Jerome and I had saved for emergencies, for home repairs, for helping the grandkids with college someday. I checked the transaction history. My hands started shaking. Transfer to external account, $15,000. January 2023. Transfer to external account, $22,000. April 2023. Transfer to external account, $55,000. July 2023. Transfer to external account, $12,000. October 2023. The transfers went on, page after page, always to the same external account, an account I didn't recognize, an account I hadn't authorized. I grabbed my retirement account statement. The 403B I'd built over 35 years of teaching and administration. The money that was supposed to fund my retirement for the next 20 or 30 years. Balance, $283,691. It should have been $325,000, another $41,000 gone. Total missing, $127. My chest felt tight. This wasn't possible. There had to be a mistake. Banks made errors. Numbers got transposed. This couldn't be real. I called First National, waited on hold for 12 minutes, listening to instrumental music that made my head pound. First National Bank, this is Trevor speaking. How can I help you today? My name is Yvonne Carroll. Account number ending in 4,782. I'm looking at my statement, and there are transfers I don't recognize. Large transfers. Over $100,000 total. Keyboard clicking. Let me pull up your account. One moment, please. The hold music came back. I stared at the statement spread across my kitchen table. Numbers that didn't make sense. Money that should have been there but wasn't. Mrs. Carroll? I see the transfers you're referring to. Those were all authorized through your power of attorney, Bianca Mitchell. She initiated all these transfers online using her POA credentials. She what? Your daughter has full power of attorney over your accounts. She's authorized to make any transactions she deems necessary. These transfers were all legitimate under the POA agreement. I didn't authorize those specific transfers. I understand, but legally, she doesn't need your permission for individual transactions. The POA gives her complete access. If you have concerns about how she's managing your accounts, you'd need to revoke the power of attorney. I hung up, sat there staring at nothing. Bianca had taken my money, my daughter, the girl I'd raised, the woman I'd trusted with my entire financial life. She'd been stealing from me for 18 months. My phone was in my hand before I realized I'd picked it up. I called Bianca. It rang 4 times before she answered. Mom, is everything okay? I'm showing a property right now. I got my bank statement. Silence. Then, okay, there's $127,000 missing from my accounts. Transferred to an account I don't recognize. Mom, those weren't transfers. Those were, I was managing your money, moving things around for better interest rates. You told me to handle your finances. I told you to pay my bills, not to transfer 6 figures out of my accounts. I can explain. Can we talk about this later? I'm literally standing in front of clients right now. Bianca, where is my money? Mom, please. Not now. I'll call you back tonight. She hung up. I sat there holding the phone, understanding finally hitting me like a physical blow. She'd been caught, and her first response wasn't explanation or apology. It was irritation that I'd called at an inconvenient time. I called Patricia, my sister. She lived 20 minutes away in Hyde Park. She answered on the second ring. Yvonne? What's wrong? You sound terrible. Can you come over? I need to show you something. Patricia arrived 30 minutes later. I spread the bank statements across the table, showed her the transfers, watched her face change as she understood what she was seeing. Oh, honey. Oh, no. Bianca did this? She has power of attorney. She's been taking money for over a year. How much? 12,700,000 yuan. Patricia sat down hard. What did she say when you confronted her? She said she was managing my money, moving it for better interest rates. That's bullshit. Yvonne, this is theft. Elder financial abuse. She used her power of attorney to steal from you. She's my daughter, and she stole from her mother. While you were grieving Jerome, while you were vulnerable and alone, Patricia grabbed my hand. You need to call an attorney. Today. Right now. I can't. She's family. Family doesn't do this. Family doesn't steal $127,000 from their widowed mother and then act annoyed when they get caught. I looked at the bank statements, at the numbers, at the evidence of my daughter's betrayal. Patricia was right, but admitting it meant admitting that the daughter I'd raised, the woman I'd loved and sacrificed for, had looked at my grief as an opportunity. What if she really was trying to help? What if there's an explanation? Then she'll explain it to your attorney. Yvonne, please. You can't let this go. That's your retirement, your security. Jerome spent 42 years driving that bus to build that nest egg. You spent 35 years as an educator. You can't let her take that from you. My phone rang. Bianca. I answered on speaker so Patricia could hear. Mom, I talked to Derek. We can meet tomorrow to go over everything, show you the accounts, explain the investment strategy. What investment strategy, Bianca? That money was sitting in savings and my 403B safe, earning interest. Where is it now? It's fine. It's all fine. We just need to sit down and go through the paperwork. We? Derek helped me set up some investment vehicles. Better returns than what you were getting. Mom, trust me. I'm looking out for you. Trust me. The words hung in the air. Patricia shook her head, mouthing the word no. Bianca, I want the money returned to my accounts. All of it. Today. Mom, it's not that simple. The money is invested. There are penalties for early withdrawal. Tax implications. You'd lose thousands if we moved it all right now. I don't care about penalties. That's my money. My retirement. I didn't authorize you to invest it anywhere. The power of attorney gives me authority to manage your finances as I see fit. I was doing what's best for you. You should be thanking me, not accusing me of whatever you think I did. I think you took $127,000 without asking me. I was helping you. God, Mom, this is why I handle your finances. You don't understand investments. You don't understand how money works. The condescension in her voice was stunning. I'd been managing household finances for 40 years. I'd put her through college. I'd helped her buy her first car. And now she was talking to me like I was incompetent. Bianca, I want my money back. If you can't return it immediately, I want documentation, statements, proof of where every dollar went. Fine. I'll email you everything. But you're making a huge mistake. Derek's investment strategy was actually making you money. You're going to regret this. She hung up. Patricia and I sat in silence for a long moment. She's not going to return that money, Patricia said quietly. You know that, right? Maybe she really did invest it. Maybe it's in accounts somewhere. Then why is she stalling? Why isn't she saying, Mom, here's the account information, here's the statements, here's exactly where your money is? Because she couldn't. Because the money wasn't in investment accounts. It was spent. I knew it in my bones even though I didn't want to believe it. That night, Bianca emailed me. The subject line read, Mom's investment portfolio. I opened it with shaking hands. The attachment was a PDF. 16 pages of official-looking documents, account statements from something called Premier Wealth Management, charts showing returns, graphs with upward trends. I called Patricia. She came back over. We sat at my computer and went through every page. This doesn't make sense, Patricia said, pointing at one of the statements. Look at the account number. It's formatted wrong. Real brokerage account numbers don't look like this. What do you mean? I used to work in banking, remember? Before I retired. This looks like a template someone created in Word and filled in with fake numbers. She was right. The more we looked, the more obvious it became. The company name had no address. The charts were generic stock photos. The account statements had no transaction details, just monthly balances that supposedly showed growth. She made this, I said. This whole thing is fake. Call that wealth management company, see if they've ever heard of her. I Googled Premier Wealth Management. Nothing, no website, no business registration, no listings anywhere. It didn't exist. My daughter had created fake investment documents to cover up theft. The realization made me physically sick. I barely made it to the bathroom before I threw up everything I'd eaten that day. Patricia found me on the bathroom floor 20 minutes later, crying so hard I couldn't breathe. I gave her everything. I sobbed. I worked 2 jobs when she was little. I sacrificed vacations and new clothes. I put her through college. I helped with her wedding. I gave her power of attorney because I trusted her, and she stole from me. I know, honey, I know. How could she do this? How could my own daughter look at me grieving Jerome and see an opportunity to steal? Patricia didn't have an answer. There wasn't one. Some betrayals are too fundamental to explain. The next morning, Patricia drove me to an attorney's office, James Reynolds, elder law specialist. His receptionist had squeezed me in as an emergency appointment. James was maybe 50. Kind face. Professional but warm. He listened as I explained everything. The power of attorney, the missing money, the fake investment documents. He took notes, asked questions, didn't judge. Mrs. Carroll, I'm sorry this is happening to you. Elder financial abuse by family members is unfortunately common. The good news is you caught it relatively early and you have clear documentation. Can I get my money back? That depends on whether Bianca still has access to those funds. If she spent the money, recovery becomes more complicated, but we have several options. First, we immediately revoke the power of attorney. That cuts off her access to your accounts effective immediately. What about the money she already took? We send a formal demand letter requesting full repayment within 30 days. If she refuses or can't repay, we have 2 paths. Civil lawsuit for breach of fiduciary duty, or we file a complaint with the Illinois Department on Aging for elder financial abuse, which could result in criminal charges. Criminal charges? Against my own daughter? James leaned forward. Mrs. Carroll, I understand this is your child. But what she did is a crime. She had a fiduciary duty to manage your finances in your best interest. Instead, she took $127,000 for her own purposes. That's not a mistake. That's theft. She might have reasons. Her husband's business might be struggling. They might have needed the money. Their financial struggles don't give them the right to take your retirement savings. You're 66 years old. You're on a fixed income. That money was supposed to last you for the rest of your life. What she did could leave you destitute. He was right. I knew he was right. But acknowledging it meant crossing a line. It meant treating my daughter like a criminal instead of my child. What do I do? We start with the demand letter. Give her a chance to make this right. If she returns the money and agrees to penalties, we can resolve this privately. If she refuses, then we discuss next steps. And if she can't return the money? If she spent it? James's expression was grave. Then we talk about whether you want to pursue criminal charges. Because, Mrs. Carroll, if she spent your retirement savings and can't repay you, someone needs to be held accountable. James drafted the demand letter that afternoon, legal language demanding return of $127,000 within 30 days, revocation of power of attorney effective immediately. Threat of legal action if demands weren't met. I'll have this couriered to her home and her workplace, James said. She needs to understand this is serious. What if she just ignores it? Then we move to phase 2. But Mrs. Carroll, most people don't ignore attorney demand letters. This will get her attention. I signed the papers with a shaking hand, watched James make copies. Felt like I was signing away my relationship with my daughter. Maybe I was. That night, Bianca called. Her voice was different, high-pitched, panicked. Mom, what the hell? You sent me a legal threat? You're suing me? I'm asking for my money back. Through an attorney? You couldn't just talk to me first? I tried talking to you. You sent me fake investment documents. You lied to my face. Silence. Then, those aren't fake. They're preliminary. I haven't gotten the final statements yet. Bianca, Premier Wealth Management doesn't exist. I checked. There's no business registration, no website, nothing. You made those documents yourself. Mom, you don't understand how boutique investment firms work. They're not all online. Some of them are private. Stop lying to me. Where is my money? More silence. I could hear her breathing, hear what sounded like crying. Things have been hard. Derek's business hit a rough patch. We had expenses. I borrowed some of the money, just temporarily. I was going to pay it back. Borrowed. You stole from me while I was grieving your father. I didn't steal. I had power of attorney. I had legal access. Legal access doesn't mean you can take my retirement savings for your own use. That's called theft, Bianca, elder financial abuse. Don't call it that. God, Mom, you're being so dramatic. Families help each other. You helped me with college, with my wedding. This is the same thing. No, it's not. I gave you that money willingly. You took this without asking. There's a difference. I was going to tell you. I just needed time to get everything sorted out. Derek has some deals closing soon. We'll pay you back. When? Soon. A few months. Maybe 6. The letter says 30 days. That's impossible. We don't have $127,000 just sitting around. Then where is my money, Bianca? What did you spend it on? She didn't answer right away. When she did, her voice was small. Derek had some debt. Credit cards. A car loan. We used part of your money to pay those off. How much? About $60,000. And the rest? Down payment on an investment property. Derek said it was a good opportunity. We'll make money when we flip it. Then we can pay you back. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. She'd taken my retirement savings, used it to pay her husband's debt and buy real estate, gambled my security on Derek's business schemes. You had no right. I know, okay? I made a mistake. But Mom, if you sue me, I'll lose my real estate license. I'll lose my career. How am I supposed to pay you back if I can't work? You should have thought about that before you stole from me. Stop saying that word. I didn't steal. I made a bad decision. There's a difference. Not to the law, there isn't. Bianca started crying harder. Real sobs. Please, Mom. Please don't do this. We're family. Families forgive each other. Dad would want you to forgive me. The mention of Jerome hit me like a fist. Don't you dare bring your father into this. Jerome worked 42 years driving a bus, worked overtime, saved every penny. That money you took was supposed to be our retirement together. When he died, it became my security, my safety net. And you looked at that and saw something to steal. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. You hurt me in the worst way possible. You made me doubt my own mind, made me feel incompetent, took advantage of my grief. That's not a mistake, Bianca. That's a choice. You chose to betray me. What do you want me to do? I want my money back. All of it. Within 30 days, like the letter says. I can't. We don't have it. The investment property, we can't sell it yet. It's not ready. And the debt we paid off, that money is gone. We'd have to take out loans to pay you back. Then take out loans. Mom, please. Be reasonable. Give us time. 6 months. A year. We'll pay you back with interest. Just don't sue me. Don't file complaints. Don't destroy my career. You destroyed it yourself when you stole from your mother. I hung up, sat in the dark kitchen. The house was so quiet, too quiet. Jerome's chair was empty. My daughter had betrayed me. I was alone. The next morning, James called. Mrs. Carroll, I wanted to give you a heads up. Bianca's attorney contacted me. They want to negotiate. She hired a lawyer? Derek's family attorney, apparently. They're proposing a repayment plan, $50,000 immediately, the rest over 5 years with interest. Where would she get $50,000 immediately? According to her attorney, Derek's parents are willing to loan them the money. They want to settle this quietly. Keep it out of court. Avoid any criminal complaints. What do you recommend? James was quiet for a moment. Honestly, I'd take it. $50,000 now is better than a years-long lawsuit that might never recover the full amount. The repayment plan gives you guaranteed income. And the threat of criminal charges if they default on payments gives us leverage. And Bianca? What happens to her? That depends on whether you file an elder abuse complaint with the state. If you do, she'll face an ethics investigation. Could lose her real estate license for 2 years minimum. If you don't file, she faces no professional consequences beyond the financial repayment. So, I have to choose between getting my money back and holding her accountable. Unfortunately, yes. The state investigation could interfere with her ability to work and repay you. It's a difficult choice. It was more than difficult. It was impossible. Choose money or justice. Choose financial security or accountability. Choose protecting myself or punishing my daughter. Can I think about it? Of course. But Mrs. Carroll, they want an answer within 48 hours. Derek's parents are only willing to loan the money if we settle quickly and quietly. I called Patricia. Told her about the offer. $50,000 now, the rest over 5 years. Settlement or investigation. Money or accountability. What do you want to do? She asked. I don't know. Part of me wants to take the money and be done with this. Get my security back. Move on. And the other part? The other part wants her to face consequences. Real consequences. She stole from me, Patricia. While I was grieving. While I was vulnerable. And now Derek's parents are going to bail them out. She's going to learn that stealing is okay as long as you can pay it back when you get caught. You're right. But you're also 66 years old on a fixed income. $127,000 is a lot of money. Can you afford to risk it on principle? That was the question. Could I afford justice if it cost me security? I spent 2 days thinking. 2 days weighing options. 2 days feeling sick about the choice I had to make. Finally, I called James. I'll take the settlement, but with conditions. What conditions? I want the full agreement in writing. Payment schedule. Interest rate. Penalties for missed payments. And I want it notarized. I want Bianca and Derek both to sign it. I want them on the hook legally. That's reasonable. Anything else? Yes. I want an apology, a real one. In writing. I want Bianca to acknowledge what she did, not call it borrowing or helping or managing. I want her to call it what it was, theft. I can request that. But Mrs. Carroll, they may refuse. Most settlement agreements don't include apologies. Then there's no settlement. Either she apologizes or I file the complaint with the state. She can choose. James was quiet. Then he said, I'll communicate your terms. 3 hours later, he called back. They've agreed. All of it. The payment terms, the written apology, everything. They want to sign tomorrow. My office. 10 a.m. Will Bianca be there? Yes. Both of them. And their attorney. Good. I want to look my daughter in the eye when she signs that paper admitting what she did. That night I didn't sleep. I kept thinking about what I'd say, what I'd do, how I'd feel seeing Bianca sign a legal document acknowledging she'd stolen from me. Patricia offered to come with me. I told her no. This was something I needed to do alone. James's office was downtown, 20th floor, glass walls with views of Lake Michigan. The kind of place that cost $500 an hour, money I couldn't afford. Money James was billing to Bianca as part of the settlement. I arrived early. Sat in the waiting room. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. At 10:03, Bianca and Derek arrived with their attorney. A young man, maybe 30, who looked uncomfortable. Derek's family lawyer, probably used to wills and real estate closings, not elder abuse cases. Bianca looked terrible. Her hair was pulled back messily. No makeup. She'd been crying. I could see it in her puffy eyes. Part of me wanted to comfort her. The mother in me that still saw the little girl I'd raised. But the woman who'd been stolen from, who'd been lied to, who'd had her trust destroyed, that woman stayed silent. James led us to the conference room, documents spread across the table. Settlement agreement, payment schedule, the written apology. "Let's review the terms," James said. "Bianca and Derek Mitchell will pay Yvonne Carroll $50,000 within 7 business days. The remaining $77,000 will be paid over 5 years. Monthly payments of $1,400, including 6% annual interest. Payments begin December 1st. If any payment is more than 30 days late, the full balance becomes immediately due." Bianca nodded. Derek stared at the table. "Additionally," James continued, "both parties agree not to discuss the terms of this settlement publicly. This is a confidential agreement. Any violation results in penalties of $10,000. "I understand," Bianca said quietly. James slid a document across the table. "This is the written acknowledgement Mrs. Carroll requested. Bianca, please read it aloud before signing." Bianca's hands shook as she picked up the paper. Her voice was barely a whisper. "I, Bianca Carroll Mitchell, acknowledge that between January 2023 and March 2024, I transferred $127,000 from my mother Yvonne Carroll's accounts without her explicit authorization for each transfer. While I held legal power of attorney, I used that authority for my own benefit rather than my mother's best interest. I acknowledge this constituted a breach of fiduciary duty and elder financial abuse. I am deeply sorry for the harm I caused my mother and take full responsibility for my actions." She set down the paper. Tears were streaming down her face. "Sign it," their attorney said gently. Bianca signed. Her signature was shaky. Nothing like the confident signature she'd used when she became my power of attorney 2 years ago, when I'd trusted her with everything. Derek signed next. He wouldn't look at me. Then it was my turn. I signed the settlement agreement. Signed away my right to file criminal complaints. Signed away justice in exchange for repayment. James collected the documents. The $50,000 will be wire transferred to Mrs. Carroll's account by close of business Friday. The monthly payments begin December 1st. If you have questions, contact my office. Everyone stood to leave. Bianca hesitated. "Mom, can we talk, please?" I looked at her, really looked at her. My daughter, 41 years old, still beautiful, still the girl I'd rocked to sleep, the teenager I'd helped with homework, the bride I'd watched walk down the aisle, but also the woman who'd stolen from me, who'd lied, who'd taken advantage of my grief. "There's nothing to talk about. Please, I need you to understand." Derek was in trouble. Real trouble. The debt collectors were calling. We were going to lose the house. I panicked. I made a terrible mistake, but I was trying to save our family. By destroying mine? I wasn't trying to destroy anything. I thought I could fix it, borrow the money, solve Derek's problems, pay you back before you even noticed. Except you couldn't pay it back. And I did notice. And now we're here. I know I was wrong. But Mom, I'm your daughter. I'm all you have. Dad's gone. We're all that's left. Can't we find a way past this? I thought about that, about whether forgiveness was possible, whether trust could be rebuilt, whether a relationship this broken could be repaired. "Maybe someday," I said finally, "but not today, not next month, maybe not for years. What you did, Bianca, it's not something I can just forgive because you're sorry. So that's it? You're cutting me out of your life?" "I'm protecting myself. There's a difference." Bianca left the office without another word. Derek followed her. Their attorney mumbled something about being in touch and disappeared. I sat in James's conference room staring at the signed documents, the admission of guilt, the payment schedule, the settlement that meant I'd get my money back but lose my daughter. "Are you okay?" James asked. "I don't know. I did the right thing. I protected myself, got my money back, but it doesn't feel like winning. It rarely does in family cases. You did what you needed to do. That's all anyone can ask." The $50,000 hit my account 3 days later. I stared at the balance on my phone. Money returned, security restored. But the number on the screen didn't erase what had happened, didn't undo the betrayal. Patricia came over that evening, found me sitting in the dark. "The money came through?" "Yes." "That's good. That's what you wanted." "I wanted my daughter not to steal from me in the first place." Patricia sat beside me. "I know. But you can't change what happened. You can only decide what happens next." "What does happen next?" "I signed a confidentiality agreement. I can't tell people why we're estranged. I just have to pretend everything's fine while my daughter pays me back for stealing from me." "You don't have to pretend anything. You can just be quiet. Let people draw their own conclusions. And Maya and Jordan, my grandchildren, they're going to think I'm the bad guy. That I abandoned their mother over money. They're 17 and 15, old enough to understand. Eventually, they'll ask questions. Eventually, they'll want to know the truth. And if Bianca tells them her version, that I was cruel and unforgiving, that I chose money over family, then you'll tell them your version when they're ready to hear it." 2 weeks passed. The first monthly payment of $1,400 hit my account on December 1st, right on time. I stared at the transaction like it was evidence, proof that what happened was real. Bianca didn't call, didn't text. The silence felt wrong. For 41 years, we'd talked regularly. Now, nothing. Christmas was coming. Normally I'd spend it at Bianca's house, watch the kids open presents, make my sweet potato pie that everyone loved, be part of the family. This year I had no invitation. No call asking what I wanted for Christmas, no questions about what time I'd arrive. Just silence. Patricia invited me to her house. "You shouldn't be alone on Christmas." "I'll be fine." "No, you won't. You'll sit in that house thinking about Bianca and the grandkids and feeling sorry for yourself. Come to my place. My kids will be there. It'll be good for you." She was probably right. But accepting Patricia's invitation felt like admitting Bianca was really gone, that our family was really broken. 3 days before Christmas, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Maya standing on my porch, 17 years old, Bianca's face at that age. She was holding a small wrapped box. "Grandma, can I come in?" I stepped aside, let her into the house she used to visit regularly, before everything fell apart. "Your mother know you're here?" "No, she thinks I'm at volleyball practice." "Grandma, what happened? Between you and Mom?" "Nobody will tell me anything. Just that you're not talking, that you won't be at Christmas." I sat down on the couch. Maya sat across from me, young, confused, caught in the middle of something she didn't understand. "Your mother and I had a disagreement. About money." That's what she said. "But Grandma, you don't stop talking to someone over money, not unless something really bad happened." "It was bad." "Will you tell me? Please? I'm not a kid anymore. I deserve to know why my grandmother isn't coming to Christmas." I thought about the confidentiality agreement, the penalties for discussing the settlement, but this was my granddaughter. She had a right to understand. "Your mother had access to my bank accounts. Power of attorney. She was supposed to help me manage my finances after your grandfather died. Instead, she took money. A lot of money. Without asking. Without telling me." Maya's face went pale. "She stole from you? Legally, it's complicated. But essentially, yes, She took $127,000 over about 18 months. Oh my God. Does Dad know? Your father was involved. They used my money to pay his debts, to buy an investment property. The house in Bronzeville, the one they're flipping. Maya's voice was hollow. They paid for that with your money? Yes. And you're making them pay it back? Yes. That's why your mother is upset, why we're not talking, because I demanded my money back and she didn't want to give it. Maya was crying now. I don't understand. How could she do that? You're her mother. You took care of her. How could she steal from you? I don't understand either, sweetheart. I've asked myself that question 100 times. Is that why she's been so stressed? Why Dad's been weird? Why they keep having these quiet conversations that stop when Jordan or I walk in? Probably. This is so messed up. Grandma, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I don't know what I thought. That you guys had a fight about something stupid. Not this. She set the wrapped box on the coffee table. I brought you a Christmas present. But it feels wrong now, giving you a present when my mom stole from you. Maya, what your mother did isn't your fault. But it's wrong that you're alone on Christmas. That's not fair. You didn't do anything wrong. Life isn't always fair, baby. Sometimes the people we love disappoint us. We have to decide how to move forward anyway. Are you going to forgive her? Eventually? I don't know. Maybe. But not yet. What she did hurt me too much. Broke my trust too completely. Maya wiped her eyes. Can I still see you? Even if Mom doesn't want me to? Your mother doesn't get to control that. You're 17, old enough to make your own decisions about relationships. She's going to be mad. Let her be mad. You're allowed to have a relationship with your grandmother. Maya hugged me, hard. The kind of hug I hadn't gotten in years. I love you, Grandma. And I'm sorry about what Mom did. I'm really, really sorry. After she left, I sat holding the small wrapped box, opened it carefully. Inside was a framed photo. Me and Maya from years ago. She was maybe 10. We were at the park, both laughing, happy. A note was tucked inside. I found this in a box in the attic. Thought you might want it. I miss the days when everything was simple. Love, Maya. I put the photo on the mantel next to the picture of Jerome. Evidence that something good had survived, that not everything was broken. Christmas came and went. I spent it at Patricia's with her kids and grandkids. It was nice, warm, full of laughter, but it wasn't my family. Every time I looked at Patricia's grandchildren, I thought about Maya and Jordan sitting at Bianca's table without me. The monthly payments continued. January 1st, $1,400. February 1st, $1,400. March 1st, $1,400. Like clockwork. Each payment a reminder of what my daughter had done, what we'd lost. Maya texted me regularly. Sometimes just to say hi. Sometimes with questions about homework or college applications. She was applying to Northwestern, wanted to study education like I had. The irony wasn't lost on me. My granddaughter, following in my footsteps, while her mother had abandoned every value I'd taught her. Jordan was quieter. He'd texted once, "Grandma, I don't understand what's happening, but I miss you." I'd cried for an hour after reading it. In March, James called, "Mrs. Carroll, I wanted to give you a heads up. Bianca's real estate board filed an ethics complaint. Someone reported the settlement to them. They're investigating." I didn't file anything. I specifically chose not to. I know, but the confidentiality agreement only covers you and them. If someone else learned about it and reported it, that's not a violation. Do you know who might have done it? I had no idea. Then I thought about Maya. About how upset she'd been. How angry. Had she reported her own mother? What happens now? The real estate board will investigate. Interview witnesses. Review documents. If they find Bianca violated ethical standards by stealing from a client, even if that client was her mother, she could face sanctions, license suspension, possibly permanent revocation. But she wasn't working as my real estate agent. I was her mother. Doesn't matter. She used her position of trust for financial gain. That's an ethics violation regardless of the relationship. Mrs. Carroll, there's nothing you can do to stop this investigation. It's out of your hands. 2 weeks later, Bianca called. First time I'd heard from her since the settlement signing. You reported me to the real estate board. Her voice was furious. I didn't. I signed a confidentiality agreement. I haven't told anyone except Patricia and my attorney. Then who did? This investigation is going to destroy my career. They're talking about suspending my license for 2 years minimum. How am I supposed to pay you back if I can't work? I don't know who reported you. But Bianca, what did you expect? You committed elder financial abuse. Did you think there wouldn't be consequences? I thought we had a settlement. I thought this was over. I'm paying you back. I admitted what I did. What more do you want? I want you to take responsibility without blaming me for the consequences. You did this. You stole from me. The settlement was about repayment, not immunity from professional consequences. This is going to bankrupt us. Derek's real estate sales are down. My license suspended means no income. We have 2 kids in private school, a mortgage, car payments. We'll lose everything. That's not my problem anymore. How can you say that? I'm your daughter. Those are your grandchildren. You're really going to let us lose our house? You were willing to let me lose my security, my retirement, my peace of mind. Don't ask me to feel sorry for you facing consequences you earned. She hung up on me. I sat in my kitchen feeling nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, just emptiness. The ethics investigation concluded in May. Bianca's license was suspended for 18 months. She was required to take ethics courses, pay a fine, apply for reinstatement with no guarantee of approval. The monthly payments continued. April, May, June. Never late, never missed. Derek must have been scrambling to cover them because Bianca had no income now. In June, Maya graduated high school. I got an invitation to the graduation, but not the family party afterward. Message received. I could attend the public ceremony but wasn't welcome at private celebrations. I went to the graduation, sat in the back of the auditorium, watched Maya walk across the stage. She saw me, smiled, waved. Bianca saw the wave, turned around. Our eyes met across the crowded auditorium. She looked away first. After the ceremony, Maya found me in the parking lot. You came. Of course I came. I'm proud of you. Mom didn't think you would. Your mother doesn't know me as well as she thinks she does. She asked me if I reported her to the real estate board. I told her I didn't know what she was talking about. Did someone really report her? Yes. Her license is suspended for 18 months. Good, Maya said fiercely. She deserves it. What she did to you was wrong. I'm glad someone reported her. Maya, she's still your mother. And you're still my grandmother. She doesn't get a free pass just because she's my mom. What she did was theft. She should face consequences. I hugged her. This strong, principled young woman. Whatever Bianca had done wrong, she'd done something right raising Maya. Are you coming to the party? Maya asked. At the house? I wasn't invited to the party. I'm inviting you. It's my graduation. I want you there. Your mother won't want me there. I don't care. Grandma, please. I want you to meet my boyfriend. I want you to see my college acceptance letters displayed on the fridge. I want you there. I thought about it, about walking into Bianca's house, seeing Derek, being in the space where my daughter would have to acknowledge my presence. Okay, I'll come. For you. Maya's face lit up. Really? Really? But just for an hour. I'm not going to make this harder than it needs to be. The party was already in full swing when I arrived. Cars lined the street, music and laughter spilling out from the open windows. I sat in my car for 5 minutes gathering courage. Finally, I walked up to the door, rang the bell. Derek answered. His face went pale. Yvonne, we didn't expect you. Maya invited me. Right. Of course. Come in. The house was full of people. Neighbors, Maya's friends, teachers, extended family. Everyone stopped talking when I walked in. Bianca was in the kitchen. She turned, saw me. Her face went through a dozen emotions in 3 seconds. Mom, you came. Maya invited me. I see. We stood there, mother and daughter. 8 months since the settlement. 8 months of silence. 8 months of monthly payments, reminding us both of what she'd done. The house looks nice, I said finally. Thank you. We made some updates. Updates paid for with my money. But I didn't say it. Just nodded. Maya rescued me from the awkward silence, grabbed my hand, pulled me toward a group of her friends. Everyone, this is my grandma Yvonne. She was a school principal for like 100 years. 35 years, I corrected, smiling. She's the reason I'm studying education at Northwestern. I want to be like her. The pride in Maya's voice almost made me cry. After everything that had happened, my granddaughter still looked up to me, still wanted to follow my path. I spent an hour at the party. Met Maya's boyfriend, a nice kid named David, who was going to DePaul for engineering. Looked at her acceptance letters on the fridge. Northwestern, full ride. Academic scholarship. She'd done it without anyone's money being stolen to pay for it. Bianca watched me from across the room, never approached, never spoke, just watched with an expression I couldn't read. Sadness, regret, resentment, maybe all three. When I said goodbye to Maya, she hugged me tight. Thank you for coming. It meant everything. I'm proud of you, sweetheart. Your grandfather would be proud too. I left through the back door, avoided the crowd, walked to my car in the growing darkness. I was unlocking the door when I heard footsteps behind me. Mom, wait. Bianca, standing on the sidewalk, arms wrapped around herself like she was cold, even though it was June. I just wanted to say, thank you for coming. For Maya. It made her happy. I came for her. Not for you. I know, but still, thank you. We stood there in the fading light, so much unsaid between us, so much damage that couldn't be undone. How are you managing? I asked. Without your license. It's hard. I'm doing administrative work at Derek's office, answering phones, filing paperwork. It's humiliating, honestly. I had a career. Now I'm a secretary. You had a career you destroyed by stealing from me. I know. I know what I did. I think about it every day. Every time I make one of those payments to you. Every time I file someone else's contracts instead of my own. I know I did this to myself. Then why are you telling me? Do you want me to feel sorry for you? No, maybe. I don't know. I miss you, Mom. I miss talking to you. Miss having you in my life. The payments will be done in 4 more years. Can we ever get past this? I thought about it, really thought about it. Could I forgive her? Could I trust her again? Could we rebuild something from the ruins of what we'd had? I don't know, I said honestly. What you did broke something fundamental. You looked at me grieving your father and saw an opportunity. That's not something I can just forget. I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was desperate. Derek was drowning. I made a terrible choice, but I never stopped loving you. Love and trust aren't the same thing, Bianca. You can love someone and still betray them. You proved that. So that's it? 4 more years of payments and then what? We just never speak again? Axer? I don't know. Maybe we can find some kind of relationship eventually, but it won't be what we had. That's gone. You destroyed it. Bianca was crying now, I'm so sorry. I know I've said it before. I know it doesn't fix anything. But Mom, I am so deeply sorry. I wish I could go back, make different choices. But I can't. All I can do is pay you back and try to be better. Then be better. Not for me, for Maya and Jordan. Be the mother to them that I was to you. Teach them that integrity matters. That family isn't just about blood, it's about trust and respect and showing up. Teach them the values you forgot. I'm trying. I'm in therapy, working on understanding why I did what I did. Why I let Derek's problems become more important than my mother's security. Why I rationalized theft as helping. That's good. Keep doing that. But Bianca, understand something. Your healing journey doesn't obligate me to forgive you. You work on yourself because you need to be better, not because it earns you forgiveness. I understand. Do you? Because you keep asking me when we can move past this, when things can go back to normal. There is no normal anymore. There's just figuring out how to exist in the same family without destroying each other further. She nodded slowly. Can I ask you one thing? What? Did you report me to the real estate board? James said it wasn't you, but I need to hear it from you. No. I signed a confidentiality agreement. I honored it. Someone else reported you. I don't know who. Maya thinks it was one of Derek's cousins, someone who overheard us fighting about the settlement. But Mom, if it was you, if you decided I needed more punishment, I'd understand. I'd be angry, but I'd understand. It wasn't me. But Bianca, whoever reported you did the right thing. What you did was an ethics violation. You deserved professional consequences. I know, doesn't make it easier to lose my career. No, I imagine it doesn't. We stood in silence for another moment. Then Bianca turned to go back inside. Bianca. She stopped, looked back. Maya's amazing. Whatever else happened, whatever mistakes you made with me, you did something right raising her. She's strong and principled and kind. Jerome would have loved her. Bianca's face crumpled. Thank you. That means a lot. She went back inside. I got in my car, drove home through familiar streets, past the house Jerome and I had bought 40 years ago, past the life we'd built together, past all the memories of what used to be. The house was dark when I got home, empty, but not lonely, not anymore. I'd learned to live with the silence, learned to find peace in solitude, learned that being alone was better than being with people who saw you as something to exploit. Patricia called as I was getting ready for bed. How was the party? Complicated. Maya was happy. That's what mattered. Did you talk to Bianca? Yes, in the driveway. She asked if we could move past this eventually. What did you tell her? That I don't know. That what we had is gone. That maybe we can find something new eventually, but it won't be the same. That's fair. You're allowed to protect yourself. Am I, though? Everyone keeps acting like I'm supposed to forgive her because she's family. Like holding boundaries makes me the bad guy. You're not the bad guy. You're the victim who refused to stay a victim. There's a difference. 9 months after the settlement, I stood in my backyard looking at Jerome's roses. They were blooming again. Pink and yellow and red. He'd be pleased. I'd kept them alive without him. Kept myself alive too. Patricia had moved closer. Not into my house, but into a condo 3 blocks away. We had coffee every morning, walked together in the evenings. She'd become more than my sister. She'd become my anchor in the storm. The monthly payment still arrived like clockwork. $1,400 on the first of every month, 48 months down, 12 more to go. Sometimes I looked at the balance and did the math. $127,000 stolen. 67,200 repaid so far, 5,800 still owed. Numbers on a screen. Evidence of betrayal. Proof that I'd protected myself. But no amount of money could repair what Bianca had broken. Maya was thriving at Northwestern. She came to visit every few weeks, brought her laundry, her boyfriend, her stories about education classes and internships, and the future she was building, a future that looked a lot like the past I'd lived. Teaching, service, making a difference. Grandma, I got accepted to the student teaching program. I'll be placed at an elementary school next semester. That's wonderful, sweetheart. What grade? 3rd grade. Southside School. High needs population. Exactly what I want. Your grandfather would be so proud. He always said education was the key to everything. I remember. He used to quiz me on multiplication tables, made it into a game. She smiled at the memory. I miss him. Me too. Every day. Jordan came by less often. 15 was a hard age to navigate family dysfunction. He was polite when he visited, distant, processing everything in his own way. I didn't push. Just let him know I was here when he was ready. Bianca and I had settled into something that wasn't quite a relationship, but wasn't complete estrangement either. We saw each other at Maya's events, exchanged brief pleasantries, maintained civility for the grandchildren's sake. But we didn't call each other, didn't have coffee, didn't share our lives. The woman who used to be my closest confidant was now someone I knew in the past tense, someone I'd loved who'd become a stranger. In February, I started volunteering with an elder advocacy group, Chicago Coalition Against Elder Abuse. They needed people to staff their helpline, to talk to seniors who suspected financial exploitation, to share resources, to be a voice that said, "You're not alone, this isn't your fault, you can protect yourself." My first call was from a 72-year-old woman whose son had been taking money from her accounts for 2 years. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. "I don't know what to do. He's my son. How do I report my own son?" "I understand. I've been where you are. It's the hardest thing in the world to hold your child accountable." "Did you report yours?" "I didn't have to, but I did demand repayment. I did set boundaries. I did choose protecting myself over protecting her from consequences." "Does it get easier?" "Not easier, just different. You learn to live with it, to build a life that isn't defined by what they took from you." "Do you regret it, choosing yourself?" I thought about that question, about the 9 months since the settlement, about the relationship with Bianca that would never be what it was, about Maya and Jordan, and the complicated family dynamics they'd inherited. "No," I said finally. "I don't regret protecting myself. I regret that protection was necessary, but I don't regret refusing to be a victim." That conversation stayed with me for days. Because it was true. I didn't regret my choices, but I mourned the family I'd lost, the daughter I'd thought I had, the future I'd imagined. In March, the real estate board sent Bianca a letter. Her license could be reinstated in 3 more months if she completed her ethics courses and paid her fines. She texted me a photo of the letter. "Thought you'd want to know I'm getting my license back. I'll be able to make the payments easier once I'm working again." I stared at that text for a long time, trying to understand what response she wanted. "Congratulations? I told you so? Nothing?" Finally, I typed, "That's good. I'm glad you're rebuilding." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Can we have coffee sometime? Just talk?" I put the phone down, didn't answer, not because I was being cruel, because I genuinely didn't know what to say. Coffee meant crossing a line, meant acknowledging that we might have a relationship again someday. Patricia found me staring at my phone an hour later. "What's wrong?" "Bianca wants to have coffee. Talk." "What do you want?" "I don't know. Part of me misses her, misses having a daughter, but part of me remembers what she did and thinks I'd be crazy to let her back in." "You don't have to decide today, or this month, or even this year. You get to take all the time you need. But at some point I have to decide, right? Forgive her or don't, have a relationship or don't. I can't stay in this limbo forever." "Why not? Who says you have to make a binary choice? Maybe you have coffee with her once every few months. Maybe you see her at family events. Maybe you build something small and boundaried instead of trying to recreate what you had. Is that fair to her? To keep her at arm's length forever? Is it fair to you to pretend everything's fine when it's not? Val, you don't owe her forgiveness. You don't owe her a relationship. You don't owe her anything except what you already gave her, a chance to repay what she stole and a path to rebuild her life. Patricia was right. I knew she was right, but knowing and feeling were different things. I finally texted Bianca back 3 days later. Maybe. Not yet, but maybe eventually. Her response came immediately. I'll wait. However long it takes. I love you, Mom. I didn't respond to that, because saying I love you too felt like absolution she hadn't earned. And not saying it felt too cruel, so I said nothing, which was becoming my specialty. Saying nothing. Protecting myself through silence. Maya graduated in May. She'd be starting her teaching career in August at a Southside elementary school, the same neighborhood where I'd been principal, full circle. At her graduation party, Bianca approached me. Mom, can we talk? Just for a minute? We walked to the backyard, away from the crowd. I know you're not ready for coffee. For a real conversation. But I wanted to tell you something. I'm done. With the payments. Derek's parents loaned us the rest. We're paying them back instead. I wanted to wire you the final $59,800 today. Close this chapter. You don't have to do that. We have a payment schedule. I know, but I want to. I need to. Every month that payment is a reminder of what I did. I want to be done carrying that. I want us to be able to move forward without this hanging over us. Paying it off doesn't erase what happened. I know, but it's a start. It's me taking responsibility, making it right as much as I can. The money hit my account the next day. $59,800. The last of what she'd stolen. I stared at the balance. $127,000 returned. Every dollar accounted for. Justice, of a sort. But it didn't feel like closure. It felt like the end of one chapter without knowing what the next chapter held. That is Yvonne Carroll's story. Now I want to hear from you. Where are you watching this from? What city? What country? Drop it in the comments below. I love seeing our global community come together over these powerful stories about elder financial abuse, family betrayal, and the impossible choice between protecting yourself and protecting relationships. Real question. If you were Yvonne, what would you have done? Would you have taken the settlement and demanded repayment like she did? Would you have filed criminal charges and risked never recovering the money? Or would you have forgiven Bianca to keep the family together? Tell me in the comments. Hit that like button if this story made you feel something. Share it if you know someone dealing with financial exploitation from family members. Someone whose adult child has power of attorney and might be misusing it. Someone who gave their child financial control and now wonders if that was a mistake. And subscribe for more raw, real stories about elder financial abuse, adult children who exploit aging parents, the cost of trusting the wrong people with your money, and what happens when protecting yourself means losing the family you thought you had. Thanks for watching. Sometimes the people you trust most are the ones who hurt you deepest. Sometimes your own children see your vulnerability as opportunity. Sometimes recovering your money means losing your relationship. And sometimes choosing self-protection over family peace is the loneliest, most necessary, most courageous decision you'll ever make. See you in the next video.